Welcome to the presentation of the prototype of the conversation mining system. This is a tool for analyzing conversational data with a chatbot using a process mining approach. The first page is the process discovery. This is about the open exploration of conversations. On the left-hand side, there are a series of filters for selecting the relevant data for analysis. This is done by selecting the chatbot, the start and end date, and the conversation steps of interest. In the right column, there are a series of statistics like the number of conversations, the number of variants, and two graphs. The bar chart shows the distribution of the conversations over the variants. At the bottom, there is a pie chart to visualize the proportion of the last activity or the last step in the conversations. The variant slider lets you change the degree of variance in the chats. By dragging the slider handle to the right, more conversations are added. A variant is a unique sequence of activities from the beginning to the end of the conversation. It starts with the most frequent paths and then adds the next paths in order of frequency. This helps to distinguish between common behavior and exceptional behavior. If you move the slider all the way to the right, the discovery follows graph becomes much more complex. This is because it includes all the paths present in the event log. Here we can see that the whole process would look like without this past path simplification. An explanation of the graph. The nodes represent the activities. It means the steps in the conversation, and the edges represent the transition between these activities. The color of the box changes according to the number of conversations that include that particular step. The same applies to the thickness of the edges. It is also possible to filter or to focus on specific situations of interest. In this case, for example, it's looking at the start of the moving dialog. So all the conversations that start with this particular dialog step will be displayed in the directly follows graph. It is also possible to see how users have navigated through all the nodes after that. Another situation might be to display all the conversations that include cases where the chatbot was unable to classify the utterance into one of its intents. This way, we can identify activities that lead to conversation breakdowns or see what the user behavior was after the bot couldn't understand their intent. Finally, the tool has an export function for the filtered data. You can also export events contained within a transition. This allows you to export the list of instances that are present in the transition you have clicked on. The second page uses the data from the first page as input. The conformance checking page has the main objectives of exploring the individual conversations and comparing them to an ideal model. For the exploration of the conversations, the page has the list of variants and the list of chats for each variant. Chats are aggregated by the variant or e-scenario. This means that two conversations belonging to the same variant will have exactly the same sequence of steps. The text messages for the selected conversation are displayed in the third column. The green boxes are related to the chatbot messages, and the white ones are those sent by the user. Users can upload an ideal model to be compared with the conversation log. Once the comparison is complete, the conversation instances that contain an unfit transition are flagged. Users interacting with the chatbot want to get their request resolved as quickly as possible, so loops, repetition of the same activity, or deviations are undesirable. The conformance checking algorithm highlights the specific transitions in the chat that deviate from the ideal model. One such case is conversation number 13. By inspecting the resulting graph, the deviation in this case is a loop that goes backwards in the process instead of forwards. Another situation of unfitness is repeating the same step. The bot is unable to move forward in the dialog because some information is missing. A different case is variant 6, which involves a breakdown in the conversation. It means when the bot is unable to classify the message into one of its intents. Therefore, the user is asked to repeat or rephrase their message. Here the bot tells the user that it couldn't understand him. Here is another chat with the same problem. By looking at different chats with the same problem, the analyst could get an indication of what might be causing the deviations and act to improve it.